Good evening, fellow professional electronic technicians, and practitioners in the broadcast and cable television field. So we're pleased to host this new episode. I'll just close the door kasi may mga motorsik. Again, as I was saying, we're pleased to provide you with this discussion about Republic Act 1992. Sorry, 9292. We'll be covering mainly the scope of practice, scope and nature of practice of PECEs, ECEs, and ECTs. And in connection with broadcast and cable television, the memorandum circular issued by NTC named MC 07/11/2008 in relation to the practitioners in those mentioned field. Uh, we're joined together with two esteemed colleagues, highly reputable individuals. So I'll introduce them. I'll introduce first Engineer Melvin Costa. Wink, wink. Okay.
Hi, good evening to all of you. It's a privilege that Daddy invited me to be part of this panel, and I wish I could help or clarify something that I could contribute to the betterment of our profession. Okay na, Daddy.
Okay. Next is the chairman of the Board of Electronics Engineers. Please welcome Dr. Alnar Detalia.
Good evening to all of our viewers. This is a good opportunity for us to really discuss matters related to this particular issue. I assume that this group, majority of the group are in broadcast field, right? So probably this is a good start for us to organize the specialized group on broadcast, because that's one of the mandates of the PRC. We on PRC to organize a specialized group as part of career progression. So I think this for all this particular field. So thank you.
So, medyo matagal ko na pong naiisip to.
Hello.
Actually, matagal ko na
Okay ba
naiisip
yung audio
ito.
ko?
Yes, sir? Itong topic na to, it's one of those steps that we need to consciously make as practitioners in the field to further strengthen and solidify our authority in the practice. So, I'll go with the first slide natin related to the agency, the National Telecommunications Commission, whose mandate is to regulate the installation, operation, maintenance of radio stations, both private and public use. That is based on Radio Control Law Act number 3846. Now, to regulate and supervise the provision of public telecommunication services based on the same law and the amended Public Telecommunications Policy Act of 1995, or Republic Act number 7925. At the bottom, to regulate and supervise radio and television, broadcast station, cable television, and pay television based on Executive Order number 546 and Executive Order number 205. So we're laying down the foundation that those specific industries are directly under the control, under the regulatory powers of the National Telecommunications Commission. So for the permits, I'm highlighting three major permits that needs to be accomplished prior to operation, either of the cable or broadcast or combination. So you have to go through the legal branch wherein you have to submit your application for a new station or upgrade of an existing station. So you have to present your technical feasibility study, your financial study, and the legal basis. So this is a long process. So, but before you reach the legal process, you need first the congressional franchise. Now, I'm highlighting this one. I'm sure Engineer Acosta will agree with me that any new application for a channel requires the entity, broadcast or cable, to undergo such signed and sealed by a professional electronics engineer. For the regulatory branch, the usual process of purchasing and possessing radio equipment to construct and to maintain, and then also for the spectrum planning, particulars of the station when it comes to the use of frequency. Sir Melvin, do you have anything to add to what I've mentioned? Because these are the things that highlights the need for a professional electronics engineer to be employed or maintained by a particular broadcast or cable television entity.
Along the way, perhaps if you are in the technical aspect or other aspects that is required by the NTC, I might comment. But this is really a summary of what is expected of potential broadcast station who would like to put up, potential broadcasters who want to put up a broadcast station.
I'd like to welcome our ISEP National President who joined us. He was driving earlier.
Thank you. Thank
Sir, do you
you,
have any message?
sir. Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity again. Maraming salamat sa ginawa mo. Napakalaking tulong ito sa ating mga ECE, PECE practitioner. So I hope we will learn with this mga legal, especially ngayon na medyo ang issue ay nasa mga TV industry and other FM. So just continue, sir, and I will be monitoring. Thank you so much. Once again, magandang gabi sa lahat.
Ako may patulog. May gata dito. Dito sa punta.
Okay. Okay, so I'll go first with the permits because I want to establish clearly that in the process of getting permits or authorizations from the NTC, it is essential that all documents accomplished related to the technical performance of the station or the cable television company, that you must have or you must employ the services of a professional electronics engineer. In the permit to purchase or possess, number 5 here said, network diagram with geographical coordinates of the station. It may pertain to a microwave link or any point-to-point link, which would require a frequency. And then on number 3, on the bottom, it is clearly mentioned original technical plans signed and sealed by a duly licensed professional electronics engineer, which consists of A, B, C, D, E, F. So this is 1. And then next, particulars of the station. This talks about details on what you are going to do, and it mentions also must be signed and sealed by an electronics communications engineer. I did an inquiry from an NTC officer earlier, and they said they should be professional electronics engineers. also. And then after buying, after purchasing, and in possession of the equipment, you're still not allowed to operate. You need a construction permit. So you have to undergo certain compliance again. And number 3 states again, engineering plans duly signed and sealed by a professional electronics engineer. And so on and so forth. So I've highlighted, I think, 4 permits lang po dito to stress the importance of engaging professional electronics engineers to supervise electronics engineers and electronics technicians in the TV station, TV network, or cable television company. Before we go to the cable company, anything you want to add, guys? Okay, so we'll go to cable television. So in the Philippines, we have 2 major cable television organizations, the PCTA, or Philippine Cable Television Association, and FICTAP, the Federation of International Cable Television and Telecommunications Association of the Philippines. I hope I got it right. Based on my research, there are more than 1,393 cable television around the country. This is based on data obtained from both organizations. So I guess you're following already the direction of the flow of discussion here on what we wanted to highlight is that the number of cable television companies alone, definitely not all of them are engaging the services of the duly licensed and authorized practitioners as mandated by law and the NTC regulation. So PCTA was established in 1983. So they mentioned here 380 regular members and 32 affiliates. I'm trying to move to the next slide. So in PCTA's website, they highlighted the distinction of the members. So they have on the first from your left, the group is Luzon, and then Visayas, and then Mindanao, and then the last column will be their affiliates. So affiliates can be local or international that wants to engage PCTA more than just a supplier of equipment or content relationship. So the data is available on their website, indicated below. And then these are the current board of directors of PCTA. I can recognize one of them as a professional electronics engineer, Engineer Romeo Ceru from Butuan.
Kumain ka sa isa ba? Ay, sa kaya mo din hindi ko ba akong balay nga. Kailan ako pa. Nagugi. Imo ko na ko kayo. Hindi, ramat akong naglan.
Then next we go to FICAP. Used to be called FICAP, but then they added the telecommunication. So they only mentioned 1,000 strong membership, but no further details can be obtained from their website. So by taking the word of their organization, so we just add them up, so we'll end up with 1,393. Okay, so that establishes the the baseline reference for the cable industry for us. And these are the current board of directors headed by Madam Tamano. So I don't recognize any PEC in the group, but maybe I'm mistaken. For the radio broadcast stations, based on the list that I there are 955 stations nationwide. This is a combination of both AM and FM.
Pagod ka din. Giduba ni mo akong balay. Giduba ni mo yung Minecraft. Minecraft na yan, Minecraft. Minecraft.
Sa isin saba.
Okay. So here it highlights per region. So region 4 needs to be updated, but I mentioned that instead of Southern Tagalog, it should be region 4A and 4B. And maybe ARMM should be changed to a different name now. So I'm not sure which one. So this would be the distribution for AM and FM. And why do you need professional electronics engineers in the conduct of preparing the technical plans? So Engineer Melvin Acosta, would you like to talk about the different charts presented here?
Okay, from this chart, it shows you the frequency study diagram or the form that should be filled up when you're applying at NTC. This is the most critical document in the technical feasibility study, because also are the F5050 chart, which is primarily used for FM, as well as the other one is for the, am I right, is the AM. So these charts are very important.
The first one is the ground conductivity map. Yeah.
Of AM waves, and center figure is the FM. How important it is? During that time, the software were not yet available. Software apps for this particular purpose were not available. This was done manually. I myself, I used to do that when I was a young engineer in one of the major broadcast stations in the country. And we used to use that as a way by which we could show to the NTC the coverage area of a particular FM and AM station, as well as the TV station, which is also propagated through this spaceway. Now, one of the important things you have to prove to the NTC is that there is no interference that will occur if you will be broadcasting. So you have to test. There are some figures that should be satisfied, the so-called separation in terms of dB, as well as the physical geographic distance, so that there's gonna be no interference whatsoever. Despite of that, the NTC theoretically, for example, let's take the case of FM. Theoretically, for a bandwidth from 88 to 108, you can broadcast theoretically 100 FM stations with a distance of 200 megahertz each. But the NTC, well, that you could do that if this possible. In the US, they could do that because they practice the so-called directivity of FM antenna. But in the Philippines, it's hardly. I don't know of any FM station which is directional. That's why they even increase the protection to 0.8 megahertz. No, so I'm sorry about the earlier I mentioned is 200 kilohertz or 0.2 megahertz. In the case, it's 0.8 megahertz. That's why the station starts at 83 point. Am I right? 83.1. Then you just add a 0.8 point N, and that is the assignment of FM. So that serves a lot of protection for FM. The same holds true for AM. Theoretically, the AM should be distanced only by a distance of around 10 or 9 kilohertz. No, I think 9 kilohertz in the Philippines. But the NTC does not allow that. Instead, they gave much more protection by separating the FM into the AM into a much greater distance of how much is that? 36 kilohertz, no?
6 channels away.
Okay.
6 channels
So
away.
enough protection because of there are some stations with a very poor filtering, as well as the
Mhm.
prospect of interference from the existence of harmonics. So that would be more it is safer now to come up with a distance of 6 stations away, so that all throughout the country we practically don't have much interference whatsoever in the AM and FM. Although there are some cases very remotely, but it can be addressed by the use of filtering. Now, uh, if you will be one of the expert witnesses, particularly us, PECE, will be hired as an expert witness in the hearing on the NTC. And one of the more difficult things to defend or to justify the operation of your station, be it television, FM, or AM, is to prove to the court that there gonna be no interference whatsoever if you will be broadcasting. In fact, I had before a very protracted hearing. I was the expert witness in a protracted hearing because of the case of involving similar frequencies which are not of the same region but relatively near each other. And that's why it is very, very important for us engineers to be very, very careful in that particular study of frequency assignments because you have to prove to the NTC, you have to prove to the possible oppositors that your transmission would be safe theoretically according to this. Nowadays, this is no longer much a problem because software are available already. You can just input the power, you can just input the coordinate, the power, the coordinate, and the relative and the height. At the same time, the antenna configuration and all the parameters that, for example, the coverage area would be given to you. And if you think that there's going to be possible interference, then you can adjust. You can adjust the height, or you can adjust the. For example, in television, we practice directivity and come up with the directivity. Although in FM, in AM, of course, everybody knows that in AM, it is very, very seldom you have adjustment in directivity. It's always omnidirectional. But in FM, it's more on cardioid. But cardioid is practically almost omnidirectional too. But in television, you can really adjust the orientation of the lobe or the coverage area, both vertical and horizontal propagation by configuration on the antenna itself and outpacing of the frequency being propagated, the outpacing of frequency on different panels. Now, if you could prove that to the NTC and to the possible oppositors that there gonna be no interference, it is most likely your technical feasibility study is of course doable. On the other aspects like for example, the structure, the electrical system, the electromechanical system, the site elevation. Those aspects are relatively easy to do in as much that they are not so in that they will not influence whatsoever the other stations. What really could influence or could interfere other stations is the your configuration, your assignment of frequency, your elevation, your height of the antenna, and of course, very importantly, the power being given to you. So this is one of the more important. In fact, we engineers we always see to it that in the application for frequency, there gonna be no interference whatsoever, or else it is no longer feasible. That's a problem. If you have interference, it will not be feasible, and you will not be passing. You will not get through the NTC permit because of that.
So these are
So
essential charts that we use during the design to determine the extent of fields, the coverage, and by determining the coverage, you'll be able to perform interference analysis with existing operators also on the co-channel, first and second adjacent channel. You need to accomplish those tasks first before you go to the NTC and present it. But I distinctly remember my first time to appear in a hearing on technical matters. I have, I think, 10 oppositors. And the first question is not about the design itself, but the lawyer scrutinized who am I and the if I'm allowed to practice. So the first five question is mainly about my credentials, and they check if I am a professional electronics engineer. Otherwise, I could have been thrown out of the courtroom immediately. So that
Yeah,
was
that's
my
correct.
first experience appearing in a technical hearing.
That's correct. Particularly if the atmosphere is adversarial, they even ask you to present your ID, your professional PRC ID
Correct.
in the court. So they are not to produce the ID in front of them. That's why if you will be going, if you will stand in the court as an expert witness, see to it that you have your PRC ID and you have your, what do you call that? You get to the city hall and you have your, what do you call permit for the professional permit in the city hall. Yeah,
PTR.
PTR. And of
Yeah.
course, necessity that your license is not expired because that they would gonna throw you out in the courtroom. Mind you telling, not only that, they're gonna see your background, particularly as I was telling you, if the atmosphere is very adversarial, they are very, very particular about their competence. Despite there was even a time I was in the court hearing, and even one of the opposers contested that I'm not competent. So though I've been in the hearing for many, many times over, he was telling the argument of the lawyer was that because I did not sign because it was signed by my boss, but I was the expert witness. But the NTC ruled it out in saying that I've been in the court many times over and they allow me to testify on that matter. But let me add once again to what, yes, this charge will be presented to the NTC, but today, just the advancement of technology makes this preparation much easier. In fact, in the software we are using, our company have a software for this, and if there is even an aspect that could hardly be done before. They can even show you the TV household coverage now by layering. You have to subscribe to the you can even
GIS.
show you, yeah, you can even have the specific towns covered or what are the specific towns covered by multi-layering in the software. So that particular app is also used by the telecommunications in the design of their cell sites. But there is a particular app for broadcast wherein things is much easier now. Unlike before when there were no software yet, really have to do it to do it manually. At the same time, you count the specific households based on the statistics Bureau of National Statistics Office to the number of TV households in the area. That was done all manually, but today it's all in the software.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I remember when I was still in the university teaching future electronics engineers, I stressed the relevance and importance of learning how to use these charts before they move to using software automated calculations. Because for me, nothing beats the old school approach. You spend more time practicing, and in the process, you gain better understanding because
Precisely.
computer simulations would automate everything, so it skips the learning process also. So
Precisely.
for me, I highly recommend that before you move on to software automated simulations, at least spend some time learning the charts.
Yeah, that's correct. In fact, James, just to let you know, mind you telling, I had a meeting. I had a very important project meeting last year, and at that meeting we didn't have the software for the app. and I used the chart to compute. In fact, I had difficulty recalling how to use that. It took me around 30 minutes to recall everything. Okay, I know how to use this chart. I recall now. So that was a very important decision to be made, and we didn't have the software available then. So I made use of the chart. Well, it says there 50-50. It only means that it means it is not sure. It is the 50% of the time and 50% of the area would be. That's a probability. That is not an accurate. That is the probability is 50-50 that signal will be available in that time and in that place. So again, this is involving the design in antenna is not merely a science, it is also an art, because in some aspects somehow in the antenna design you cannot incorporate all the aspects in the physics of antenna, but perhaps due to many factors in the environment, some of the calculations might not be as accurate as based on the theoretical one.
I agree. So we move on. I'm actually surprised that many young electronics engineers have not seen these charts. So maybe we could call on maybe some for practitioners in the academe to stress how to use this for the performance of their technical studies. I mean, it's simple. I don't know if it's fair if I say it's simple. Um, it's tedious lang. It's time consuming, but it's gonna be fun, especially when you're getting paid doing the study. Yes. So I'm highlighting at the bottom page of the coverage interference study. There is a requirement that it should be signed and sealed with the PTR of the professional electronics engineer. So meron po talagang gamit yung lisensya natin. Huwag po kayong madismaya kung hindi nyo nagagamit. Just keep on renewing it, and if you're looking for ways to use your license, then preparation of technical studies ang way to go talaga. Now, we go for TV broadcasters, analog and digital. By my count, based on the number of companies, because, for example, ABS-CBN alone has around 50 stations. So that is counted as one. Okay? So by entity, we're talking of entities here, 492. So if each of them has 2 stations, so this would be doubled immediately. That's the point. Okay. So I prepared a chart also. I hope it's readable. Of all the stations, all the entities, broadcast entities with at least 2 stations. Okay? Because if it's only 1 station, then it's not a network. Iniiwasan ko lang mabash ako, baka sabihin, iisa lang sinawag mong network. And then yung highlighted on the red dashed line box ay yung, I think, top 15 companies with their number of stations. Okay. So, ito yung top 15 natin. Oh, we go back. So, our top 15 networks in the Philippines. Number 1 is ABS-CBN Broadcasting Corporation. They have 50. Okay, 50 under ABS-CBN Broadcasting Corporation. Then next is GMA Network with 45. And then we have RBS, or Republic Broadcasting System. Republic Broadcasting System is connected with GMA also. Okay. And then we have sports and action. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sir Melvin, but this is under Amcara Broadcasting franchise, right?
Yeah, ABNI. We call it ABNI, Abkara Broadcasting Network Inc. ABNI.
Okay. So next we have PTV with ilan ba to? Sorry. PTV or People's Television Network Inc. with 21 stations nationwide. Then next is Eagle Broadcasting, which is what you know as Net 25 at 20 stations. Next is Radio Philippines Network with 20 stations. And TV5 under Associated Broadcasting Corporation franchise with 19 stations nationwide. And then next is IBU or Information Broadcast Unlimited Inc. with 15 stations. So you might be wondering, you've never seen IBU, but these are the data that they have 15 stations. Next is First United Broadcast Corporation with 14 channels nationwide. Next is GSA with uh, 12, 12 stations. Next is Swarasug or Sunshine Media Network Inc. with 12 stations. Next is the Intercontinental Broadcasting Corporation with 11. And then we have RGMA or Radio GMA, another entity with 9 stations. And then we have another, because there is, if you notice, we have yung TB5 earlier with 19 stations, but then we have another TB5 here under ABC Development Corporation. So Associated Broadcasting Corporation apparently is different with ABC Development Corporation. I'm just clarifying or making the distinction. The same is true with GMA, RBS, and RGMA. Next is Christian Era Broadcasting System or SEBC, branded as INC TV with 8. And then GB Broadcast with 8, Nation Broadcasting with 8, and then RMN or Beam has 8. Okay. So these are all television. Okay. I'd like to clarify because there's this GV there, but the logo looks like an FM radio. These are all pertaining to TV stations. So the top 15 alone, if we combine the numbers, that would be a significant opportunity for PECE, ECE, and ECT practitioners already. Now, before maybe I'll reserve further statements. Would you like to comment on this one, or do you have anything to say here, Melvin?
That's okay. The presentation is good.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to highlight also that there are TV charts also, very similar to the charts presented earlier. These are based on F5090, F5010, and F5090 charts. So, like what Melvin said earlier, the 50 and 50 means 50% of the location, 50% of the situation. So if it's 50-10, 50% of the location, 10% of the situation. And then 50-90, 50% of the location, 90% of situation, which means if you make manual coverage simulation using these 3 charts on identical parameters, you will end up with different results. Because 50-10 would be more forgiving, 50-90 would be very strict. So the forgiving one will give you a big coverage, but it's actually, most of the time you don't get the signal. And then 50-90 would have a smaller coverage, with higher probability of reception. So I just wanted to clear that up in that manner. And then you have to take into consideration also, we have the terrain roughness correction and a table to sum up the interference study for your proposed station against existing co-channel, first adjacent, upper and lower, and then second adjacent, upper and lower. You need to satisfy the protection limits as stated in the chart. So if you want to get a copy of the chart, I think it's downloadable on the KBP website. So they have a portion there called standards or downloads. But then for me, I usually get it online through the FCC CFR 47, Code of Federal Regulations 47, because essentially they're the same. Okay, we now go to the law. So I would like to give this to our national president, Mr. President. So can you please take over the part talking about the scope of practice or the managerial scope of practice of electronics engineers? Sir Christian, nakamute yata kayo.
Ay, oo nga, oo nga.
Hmm.
Anyway, pero may problema ako kasi naka-mobile ako. Talagang ginamitan ko na ng ano, pero parang hindi ko rin masyadong makita yung mga napakaliit na text.
Ganito na lang, sir. Babasahin ko na lang siya and then expound on the explanation. Okay. Republic Act 9292, an act providing for a more responsive and comprehensive regulation for the registration, licensing, and practice of professional electronics engineers, and electronics technicians, repealing Republic Act number 5734, otherwise known as the Electronics and Communications Engineering Act of the Philippines. And for the purposes, I jump to Section 5 immediately. Nature and scope of practice of electronics engineering and electronics technician profession. A. The scope and nature of, and then I highlighted everything in red, practice of electronics engineer shall embrace and consist of any work or activity relating to the application of engineering sciences and or principles to the investigation, analysis, synthesis, planning, design, specification, research and development, provision, procurement, marketing and sales, manufacture and production, construction and installation, test and measurements, control, operation, repair, servicing, technical support, and maintenance of electronic components, devices, products, apparatus, instruments, equipment, systems, networks, operation, and processes in the field of electronics, including communications and or telecommunications, information and communication technology, computers and their networking and hardware, firmware, software development and applications, broadcasting, cable, and wireless television, consumer and industrial electronics, electro-optics, photonics, optoelectronics, electromagnetics, avionics, aerospace, navigational and military applications, medical management, supervision and regulatory aspects of such works and activities. Similarly, included are those teaching and training activities which develop the ability to use electronics engineering fundamentals and related advanced knowledge in electronics engineering, including lecturing and teaching of technical and professional subjects given in the electronics engineering and electronics technician curriculum and licensure examination. So yung buod po, Mr. President, yung relevance po nito.
Yes, thank you. At nasundan ko naman na actually our RE 9292 as our practice, nasa atin na lahat ang opportunity as to electronics or technology is concerned, no? Nakita natin dyan na lahat broadcast, but as we observe, marami pang scope dito na talagang hindi pa nagagamit ang ating profesyon. That is why one of the direction of the national ngayon sa ating organization is to advocate more sa mga scope natin. In fact, of course, dito ang cable TV broadcast some teka lang, labas. Yung junior ko nagwala. Some of the TV broadcast and even cable TV, so hindi pa minsan nila nasusunod yung opportunity of the ECE sana. No, ang iba nga as we observe, lalo na dito sa mga probinsya, instead of hiring an ECE, some are ginawa nilang retainership lang muna. So yun ang titingnan nating mabuti. That is why sa Republic Act natin, nakikita natin very broad siya, hindi siya specific. Now, ang direction again with the group, with the national and some of our advisors, especially nandiyan si Sir Melvin, nandiyan kayo, and other pillars of ICEP. So yung enhancement or modification or update of our IRR, no? Kailangan natin ma-specific siya sa IRR kung yung scope and practice, kasi minsan tinatanong sa mga ano natin yung mga legal basis, kasi sa RE 92 hindi siya na-specify. When we see ICT, pero yung iba kung ano-ano ang na-hire, yung non-ECE who is also practicing our field. Like sa ICT, tingnan nyo, ang dami. Minsan nga yung we have an experience, yung DepEd are hiring IT officer 1, pero sa nilagay nila na mga qualification, nawala si ECE. They don't even, kahit sa opportunity na ma-post lang kasali si ECE, ang nilagay nila is computer, engineering, or IT. So, yun ang mga kailangan natin na bigyan ng pansin sa mga agency. That is why meron yung sa manning, kailangan i-revisit yung mga government agency natin just to inform them na dito tayo nag-exist ang ECE with this law. So bibigyan na natin paunti-unti ang ngipin ng ating batas, but again, in the IRR sana ma-specify yung provision na gusto natin. Halimbawa, if we could what is this, recall before, no, nakikita na recall ko lang, no, there are profession like dentist ba yun, if I'm not mistaken, yung mga technician nila, sila nang pumupunta sa mga ano nila, mga kliyente para magawa ng pustisyo. So the police that through the law of the dentistry siguro, so nawala sila talaga. Pero may kabuhayan pa rin sila sa likod. Nung nangyayari ngayon with the non-ECE who is already practicing our profession, so natatabunan tayo, but this is the high time to again, no, revisit our law and tingin pa natin, we have to strengthen the law. Now in the local government side, nandun na tayo, no, by the implementation of the electronics permit. So lahat ng permitting dyan, so lahat ng scope na yon kasali na. So but then again, makikita natin, na-observe namin na may kulang sa yung very specific tayo sa mga provision kasi minsan yung mga kasama natin ng mga ibang profession or the contractor itself are sometimes questioning kung saan makikita yung mga provision na yan. Although nakalagay dyan siya very generic, not specific, but meron naman tayong move na ma-enhance yun. Hindi pa naman huli ang lahat. Kaya nga I encourage all the chapters within their area of responsibility that last January to make the January as the courtesy month nila, no? Tayong lahat, no? Magpakilala tayo sa lahat ng agency, might be private or government, that nandito tayo. Ano ba yung trabaho ng ECE? Dapat alam nila na, lalo na ngayon na ang trending ngayon nasa ICT. So, but there are some or who is already practicing the field of ICT. So, ngayon na medyo na sasapawan minsan si ECE, but again, the only thing na meron tayong hawak is we have this RA 9292. So we will make use of this, no? Kung kailangan tulungan tayo na ma-update yung IRR to be specific para naman may talagang ngipin na kung may magtanong, that is ours. Now, sabi ko nga, sa side ng local government, ginagawa natin, halos na throughout the Philippines, yung mga major city, meron na. But there are some scope na wala pa dyan, no? Ang dami na binasa ni Sir James kanina. But again, Sir James is advocating sa broadcast. So we will siguro encourage some groups kung saan sila na scope naka-practice dyan ay dapat they will be more visible to the community and to the agency. So binibisita natin ang mga government agency kung ano yung maitulong. Malaking tulong din yung isang grupo natin sa government arm natin, yung page, yung Philippine Association of Government Electronics Engineers. So I am also one of the member and the PRO director for Mindanao na binibisita namin lahat ng agency ng government to show them or to inform them na we are an ECE, ano yung maitulong namin in terms sa ganito. ICT, pwede kami dyan. So lahat, communication, lahat sinasabi namin. So that is why one of my experience of that, the NIDA Region 10, asking a letter requesting me to assist their bidding sa kanilang PBX system. So doon ako nabigyan din ng opportunity na nagpa-kilala na ito yung ECE, ito yung batas namin, under the scope namin yan, at least alam nila. So doon nabigyan ng opportunity na tulungan natin sila on how to purchase kanilang technical requirements, at ngayon successful naman yun. So siguro we will have be more familiar sa batas natin, yung mga every provision. We have also a DILG memorandum sa mga government agency, no? Way back 2013. So pinalabas yun ng DILG na of course sa lahat ng mga posisyon sa city building office, kailangan mayroong ECE, PECE at ECT. And lahat ng e-government project should be employed by ECE, ECT or PECE. Now the challenge is we have to equip also our members. We have to equip also our professionals para yung sa mga industry or kung saan sila na field na gustong mag-practice, yung agency na yon is yung professional natin, yung members natin, ready na sila to perform the job, to perform that the scope of our field, kumbaga. So ganun lang siguro. Kung may nakalimutan man ako, pwede namang madagdagan. Alam ko nandyan din si our chairman of the board, si Sir Alnar. So andito din si Sir Melvin. So ganun lang siguro muna. And I would like to inform that one of the direction also of the national ngayon, tinitingnan natin yung certification, no? Tinitingnan natin yung certification in every expertise. Kasi baka dyan tayo din na malamang tayo because there are very aggressive other professionals and other industry that giving certification in our scope, in our field, no? But for me, nakikita ko naman na maybe the ISIP or tayo ang the only pwedeng tawagin, no, na pwedeng magbigay din ng certification because all that scope is under our law. So kailangan lang siguro we have a partner industry or ano yung kailangan natin gawin na ma-realize yan, no? With the help of our pillars and others. So ngayon for study and kinukuha natin yung mga inputs ng iba kung ano, because the industry whether we like it or not ready na yan sila. So ang importante lang our organization or our members, especially the national officer, will start acting in this, no? Kailangan na gamitin itong ngipin ng RE 9292 para naman hindi maabuso sa iba. And of course, we have mga issues and concern ngayon regarding the overlapping of our profession, and there are also other profession who is also practicing our the same scope. And then in fact, they are trying to do some anong tawag dyan, they are also trying to do some certification. In fact, medyo nagaya-gaya na yung RE natin. But anyway, that is subject. Hindi pa naman bumalik daw sa table nila Sir Alnar sa PRC. So I think ito lang muna ang magbibigay ko na input, but along the way we will inform our members through any other forum to some updates. So gandang gabi sa lahat. Back to you, Sir James.
Mr. President, do you know when Republic Act 9292 was passed?
Yes, on 2004, April 17, and it was authored by or the proponent of this is no less than our late Senator Nini Pimentel. Tama po ba?
So it was in 2004. And
Yes, yes.
our next slide is an issuance of the NTC 4 years after. So I'd like to commend the National Telecommunications Commission for being one of the first to strengthen our authority on this matter. This is NTC Memorandum Circular 07/11/2008. So I divided it in two parts, but let me read. The Memorandum Circular talks about amending and or modifying Memorandum Circular number 46/2008, enjoining radio and television stations, cable television facilities compliance with Department Order number 5, series of 1948, and Department Order number 88, series of 1973, for the purpose of clarifying certain policy issues with respect to the employment of licensed radio operators and technicians. It talks about existing regulations for protecting the livelihood of radio operators and technicians. However, the radio operators are slowly disappearing. It becomes harder and harder for broadcasters and cable operators to find such practitioners. And then I moved to the whereas clause. The first whereas clause. The National Telecommunications Commission is vested with the authority and jurisdiction to formulate and implement policies, maintenance, and operation of radio and TV facilities, systems, and services, and cable television facilities throughout the country. Whereas Department Order Number 88, Series of 1973, and implemented under Memorandum Circular Number 37, requires the services of a duly registered electronics and communications engineer in the operation and maintenance of radio station. Next, whereas the NTC takes co-locating stations and cable television operators are not employing licensed radio operators / technicians and ECEs. Next, whereas the NTC recognizes the need to amend and or modify Memorandum Circular Number 406/2008 in order to clarify certain policy issues with respect to the employment of licensed radio operators and technicians. Part 2 of the same document. Wherefore, pursuant to the powers vested in the NTC and for the reference and guidance of all concerned, it is hereby ordered that all radio and television broadcasting state comply with the provisions of Department Order Number 5, Series of 1948, by employing a licensed radio operator / technician at all times during and while in operation. Further, the operation of all radio and television broadcast stations and cable television operators must be under the supervision of a professional electronics engineer, actually professional electronics and communications engineer or registered communications engineer pursuant to the provisions of Department Order Number 88 Series of 1973. Any circular, memorandum, or order previously issued or parts thereof inconsistent herewith are deemed amended, revised, or repealed accordingly. Guys, for me, this is a very strong law. This is already a law. This memorandum circular was published. I think that's this was in 2000. So, the NTC gave the practitioners for RA 9292 a stronger position in the field of broadcasting and cable television.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a summary here. Strengthen the PECE, REE, and ECT practice. REE is Registered Electronics Engineer. Congress gave us the law. NTC added the regulation. And we total, for both industry alone, broadcast and cable, we have 2,846 opportunities for our colleagues in the profession to practice in the field that they have chosen. So, Mr. President, can we make this a priority, at least for those involved in the broadcast industry, that we ensure that the companies in broadcast and cable television are complying with RA 9292 and the memorandum circular issued by NTC, that's 7/11/2008.
Yes, yes. Noted po ito, Sir James. At least meron tayong data at titingnan natin ito, no? We will coordinate with the NTC also by the time na pwede na tayong visit again, because last January I have a courtesy call with our no less than our deputy commissioner, Sir Igay. Sinabi naman niya na all out support din siya sa ISET and sa atin. So maganda ito na na mga information, at least guided tayo. Imagine there are
Magpe-play po ako ng
2,800.
2,846, Mr. President.
Yes,
So, kung 2,846 PECE, baka kulangin tayo.
yun na nga. And in fact, aside from this 2008, if we could also full implement to the LGU, in every LGU at least one, there are 1,000 plus LGU. So malaki na to sa opportunity sa mga ECE natin. Remember, when I was in Cagayan, when Engineer Galceran resigned and ako po yung napalit kasi nag-abroad siya, lumipat po ako para Maramag Bukidnon. Isa lang ako, ngayon 4 kami ECE. So kung titingnan natin ang opportunity talaga, kahit dalawa lang sa 1,000 plus, almost 3,000 opportunity sa local government yun, aside from this 2008 opportunity and others. So yun ang bibigyan natin ng pansin para naman gagana ito agad. Anyway, ito existing na to. I'm sure marami nang nag-practice nito, but siguro meron pang ilan na siguro hindi pa. So thank you for this information, Sir James.
I can forward to you the presentation slides and the sources of the data to further strengthen the statements made. So these are not concocted from baseless references. These are generally accepted references in the field of broadcasting for cable, whatever available data on the website of the organization. I'd like to play 7 videos. Each would be around 1.5 minutes. And I encourage everybody who's watching to carefully analyze the assertions in the video. This has something to do with the competence of a PECE in a TV station. So I'll start with the first video. That's the first video. Okay, we go to the next one. So PTV has no professional electronics engineer.
Bangkok lagi oh. Bangkok.
So TV5 has, I think, two or three. I think two. Now we're moving to the next. So this video clip I just opened on because I cannot just
Laro,
say
laro,
I need to
laro.
wait for
Please,
their sign on sign.
please. Where? Laro, please. Please, flag. Nagka di sa flag. Di flag. Kaya.
Okay, we're switching to the next one. This is for RPN. So some of the sign-ons I got on YouTube really are terrible, so please bear with us. So for this one, RPN doesn't have a professional electronics engineer also to directly supervise all the electronics engineer. So now we switch to Zoe Broadcasting, operator of Channel 11 and Channel 33. So Live TV has two PEC and two PCE. And then lastly for IDC 13, one of the major reason why I selected the 7HF networks because they are considered as the largest networks. So it kind of establishes a pattern already for us as a reference. So here, you'll see Engineer Ronnie Suarez, Engineer Armando. So they have two PECs. So I hope makabalik sila. Engineer Tamayo, can you hear me? Hello guys.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Naririnig kita.
Okay. Yan, bumabalik na tayo one by one. So, in essence, ang bottom line ng ating ginawang sort of webinar today is to ask ourselves, what are we doing and what can we do to ensure that RA 9292 and the Memorandum Circular 711-2008 are implemented. So this is our own way of letting the broadcast and cable operators that there are existing laws that they need to comply with.
Yeah.
So for our parting words, maybe we can hear from Doc Detalia. Si Doc. Kuha lang kami ng message, Doc.
Na-appreciate natin yung conduct of this kind of activity. As what I mentioned earlier. Hello, okay ba yung audio ko?
Perfect,
Hello, James.
sir. Perfect.
Okay ba yung audio ko?
Yes, sir. Perfect, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So as what I mentioned earlier, we are encouraged to organize a specialized group that's part of the specialization field of profession. And then, as mentioned a while ago, we identified the possible fields of our profession, and one of that is broadcast, ICT, computer, telecoms, and electronics. No, so this is one of the activities that would lead to that particular organization. And as what I've mentioned, as what the president of ISEP mentioned a while ago, the certification thing. So probably, if this will go on smoothly, the establishment of the specialized group in broadcast, then this particular group that will be organized will certify a professional, certifying him to be an expert or to be in the field of broadcast. So yun yung direction siguro natin. And aside from that, our curriculum is all in line with this particular direction, because we have also a a a track or a specialization in broadcast. So things are in place. The only thing is we have to organize a group, a specialized group. And so it is our plan in the future that during our convention, mayroon na tayong specialized track, and it's going to be a parallel session highlighting those different fields of specialization of electronics engineering profession. Yeah, so that's my parting words. I'm having difficulty in connecting. I shift to another. Nag-shift ako to another provider. Kanina ibang provider 'yon. Iba na naman. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
Earlier, may I just
Thank you, sir.
may I just butt in, James?
Go ahead, Sir Melvin.
Sige, go ahead. May mga questions ba?
We had constant communication with Engineer Orbe on this matter. On this matter regarding the specialization field, and we will remember we had the so-called SBET before. It was very active. Then medyo nawala yon. Then we are trying to revive. We already met.
Mhm.
We already met the corresponding founders there. Met already. Initially, I was talking to KBP and the name of Engineer Gallo. Then he will be doing the reactivation of the paperwork in the NTC. At the same time, had it not been for the COVID thing, we would have organized or reorganized the SBET or Society of Broadcast Engineers of the Philippines, Engineers and Technicians of the Philippines. Now we look forward that if any, as we promised Engineer Orbe, at the earliest time we could reorganize back, so that this to realize that the specialization field, particularly in accreditation of PCEs, but of course we have to reconstruct everything on the paperwork, SEC as well as other documentary requirements of the government. Then hope before the AGM we would be up and running and holding seminars. Now also to add to that, remember Dr. Arnal was also there. We were attending the seminar conducted by Engineer Rio, right, sir? So that was 3 days ago. Sabi nga niya at this point of time, tayo mga ECE dapat maging bida kasi nga because of this COVID thing, the telecommunications and computer aspect of the society becomes so very, very relevant, no? Siguro nakilala rin natin yung Zoom, lahat pa ng mga meeting room because yung ito na yung sabi nga ni Engineer Rio, the former Undersecretary Rio, na this is the opportune time for us to shine in this particular new normal wherein we will be constrained by movement, physical movement, but communications are very vital to the survival of the country or our industry, our even personal lives, no? To somehow give normalization to our professional and personal lives, no? So kailangan natin, siyempre, konektado yan sa telecommunications, sa availability ng bandwidth, no? At the same time, the third telco is around, and it was also stated there that in July, importante ngayon ng telecommunications at saka broadcast. So that this be an opportune time for us to show our specialization to pass to walk throughout this particular pandemic, as according to world expert, is worse since World War II. Itong nangyayari sa mundo ngayon, ang pinakamatindi lang nangyari in the 20th century, in World War II, susunod na daw to. So, opportune time for us to yan lang may part. Thank you, James.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President.
Yes, okay. As the National President ng ICEP, with the help of some pillars, yung mga previous, meron na silang inumpisahan regarding sa practice natin. And then, we are part of that. And then now, we are continuing. No? Pinagpatuloy natin yung inumpisahan ng ating mga former officers and past national president, mga former board ng DECE natin. In fact, in line with my expertise in the regulation, kasi nandito tayo sa local government, no? Tayo po isa sa nag-advocate nito. Pinagpatuloy din natin ang inumpisahan ng mga pillars, yung sila Sir Romy, sila lahat, silang Sir former Marciano ba yun, yung ginawa yung 92-92. So before, hindi natin nakikita na-implement yun. In fact, sa Cagayan de Oro in 2003, gumawa kami ng city ordinance na talagang pipirma na si ECE. But fortunately, dumating 2004, naging batas na yung 92-92 at yun, pinagpatuloy natin. In-advocate natin sa lahat ng city, municipalities. In fact, all major cities, they are already implementing. And the last isang city is the Puerto Princesa sa Palawan. We are coordinating the electronics officer na nandun na assign kasi hindi pa siya kabisado. Tumatawag. So dumadami na yung opportunity, no? Kasi pagka ang isang LGU ay nag-implement nito, aside the opportunity from the LGU, merong another opportunity outside, yung mga practitioner. Kaya nga, yung drive natin is parallel. When we conducted an electronics evaluators training, parallel with the yung mga practitioner. Dapat may mga PECE kasi we are advising or we are encouraging or we are asking for help sa mga LGU, sa UBO especially, to implement our electronics permit implementation under RE 92-92, tapos wala namang PECE doon sa kanila, nahirapan yung client. So parallel yung approach natin. And again, pagpatuloy pa rin natin kung hindi man ito matapos ngayon, but meron na tayong mga naumpisahan na naman. Pinagpatuloy natin yung naumpisahan na nila. And then, ito na side is under local government kasi tuloy-tuloy na yan eh. Yung mga bagong telcos ngayon, yung mga bagong telecommunication company like the D2, yung mga cell site, yun, nire-required na yun ng dapat should be signed and sealed. May plano sila na sa electronics plans advised by PECE. So throughout the Philippines, minsan sa Manila, Cebu, kung saan-saan na sila nakakuha ng kanilang ECE na nagpipirma at gumagawa ng plano. So doon yun sa side ng local government. Yung sa broadcasting naman at saka sa iba sa ICT, ongoing yung ano natin discussion dyan. And in fact, we have we have an ordinance also preparing, the ordinance creating the ICT department in the locality. Parang ganun siya. So we are asking for the help of ASIC Alan Silor sa DICT and endorsed by maybe by the DILG kung ano yung pwede natin. We are the one initiating kung baga yung separation of the city building office. Ginawa din natin yan na pinurward natin lahat yung mga draft ordinance just to have the champion sa kanilang area. At least ready na yung draft ordinance. Kasi pag nagawa yon, mayroong champion sa kanila, naging separate yun. Another opportunity, not only in ECE but bagong department yan ng city government. In fact, dito sa Mindanao, mayroong 3 na isang first class municipality, 2 city, separate na yung ubo from the city engineer. Kasi kadalasan, si city engineer, siya din yung nagiging city building official. In Cagayan de Oro, way back 1996, separate na yung ubo sa city engineer. So meron talagang city building official as per PDT 96, but the problem before, wala pang ECE. So ngayon, with the IRR of PDT 96, doon tayo kasali. That is why also we are have a law na dapat masubmit din yan na si electronics is kasali na sa general law, the PDT 96, as electronics regulation. So si electrical, mechanical, and the electronics regulation. Kasi ngayon, nasa IRR lang tayo ng PDT 96. So yun yung mga direction natin na para naman ma-strengthen yung mga legal basis sa batas natin. No? Aside from broadcasting, ICT, lahat marami dyan. Kaya nga, parang kung maaari, that is why we are empowering the local chapter, yung pag-start ng pandemic na you go along with the online seminar, the webinar. Why? Because this is the time. Kaya nga sabi ni Sir Melvin as si chairman, this is the time na makilala tayo, no? But in fact, some governors calling me na paano yung CPD, ganyan-ganyan. Iko, sige lang. Actually, we are coordinating with VRC. We are not in control sa mga policy na yan, but hopefully may solution yan. But what is important is you have to start now conducting online para nakikita na nila na mga ECE pala ito halos. And in fact, we are encouraging them na to help other professional na kung kailangan tulungan natin yung ibang professional mag-sit up natin yan, well, much better kasi doon sila nag-learn sa mga ECE. So the more nila ma-appreciate, ito pala mga ECE, tinulungan tayo na makakandak ng webinar. May mga account tayo dyan, di ba? So pwede nating i-offer kung may mga kilala tayo ibang profesyon. The more na makilala tayo at sabi nila, ito pala yung mga expertise ng ECE, doon tayo. Kaya nga, inedit ko yung pangalan ko, kung na-observe nyo. Nilagay ko na yung parang may PECE kasi dapat isa yan sa natin. Pagka naglagay lang tayo kasi ng engineer sa ordinary citizen, pagka sinabing engineer, ang first na sa isip nila yan, civil engineer yan. So hindi tayo nakilala na electronics pala. Ang pangalawa dyan, maybe electrical pa or mechanical, nasa pangatlo lang tayo. So sometimes kung may mga tayo address, that would help also. Kaya they are very much curious. Ano yung PECE? Electronics pala. So that is why the national ngayon, with the help of our mga former officers and other experts, sana magtulungan tayo for this purpose na ma-strengthen natin ang ating batas. Meron na tayo, this is the very much advantage, no? Meron na tayong batas, yung iba dyan wala pa. Gusto pang magkabatas. So the scope is nandito na. Now, the very much important is how we protect and strengthen dito na parang minsan pagganahin din natin na para din na may ngipin siya na kagaya ng sinabi ni Sir James kanina, may mga station na wala palang PECE pa. So, kung ano yung pwedeng gawin natin, kasali yan sa discussion, kung sino yung bibisitahin natin, papalo up natin with yung maganda naman yung approach ba, na hindi rin sila ma-offend na kung baka sakali, makapag-hire sila invite. And in fact, titingnan natin sa amendment sa IRR, yung mechanical kasi, kung titingnan mo, meron pa, I don't know, parang nakasaad din sa batas nila na in every industry, talagang may 3 PME, parang ganun. Matagal na yan, hindi nila pero ngayon, dinahandahan nila ang implementation. No? I'm sure hindi lahat siguro, pero there are some industry na talagang 3 shift yung PME nila. So, yun, titingnan natin lahat ng aspeto, hindi yan makaya sa isang but I'm sure in every year, meron tayong maiwan na mga opportunity sa mga kaprofesyon natin. So thank you. Back to you, Sir Jim.
Engineer Philip Tamayo, baka may mensahe ka rin sa
Good evening, no, mga kapwa ka-PECE.
Nadidinig ba niya
Dito ako
tayo?
sa nadidinig. Yes. Okay.
Sir
Medyo delayed
Tamayo,
lang yata.
can you hear us?
Yes po, yes. Naririnig ba ako? Meron?
Yes, okay.
Ayan. So, again, nasabi na rin lahat ng ating mga kasama yung importante.
Malinaw.
Siguro sa akin,
Go ahead.
parting in addition sa advocacy, sa innovation, sa mga we also yung competency natin as PECE. Para, kasi pag in place na yan, tapos biglang kaya mo ba yung trabaho, di ba? So, dapat lahat din tayo competent sa ating mga expertise, kanya-kanya expertise. So, makakatulong yung ongoing na programa nila, inaaral nila Sir Melvin, Sir Orbe, na expertise nung kada field. And again, sa implementation naman, pwede tayong mag-request ng reiteration sa DILG dun sa MC nila na 2013-01. So, yung MC na yon, andun yung pinaka-basic na sinasabi ni DILG na may PEC, ECE sa kada LGU na pwesto ang kinakailangan ng kanilang services. So, request natin sa DILG na i-reiterate lang yung ating MC. Ganun yung ginagawa ng mga ibang professions kasi. And then, advocacy, tuloy-tuloy lang. Tama yung sinabi ni Sir Christian na dugtungan na ipakilala natin yung PECE. Kung may makasalubong tayo na hindi alam yung all about sa ECE, PECE thing, dapat malaman nila. Dito sa Tugigaraw, naging aware na sila dito sa North. So nag-start lang din yan sa kapopos sa Facebook, then pinasyal kami nila Sir Alnar, sila Sir Rico noon, I think 2 years ago or a year ago. Nag-audit sila sa mga LGUs kung in place yung mga electronics permit, etc. And okay naman. So mag-umpisa lang tayo sa pakonti-konti and kakalat din yung ating profession, kumbaga makikilala rin talaga. So, ayun lang. And good day. Good day sa lahat. Maganda tong forum. Thank you po, sir.
Yun. Maraming salamat po sa lahat po ng ating guest, resource person dito sa I call it my personal advocacy but I'm sure Sir Melvin in the foothold of PECEs, ECEs, and ECTs, especially in our field, broadcasting and cable television. Since we lost the Society of Broadcast Engineers and Technicians of the Philippines, which was like maybe, I don't know, more than 10 years, Sir Melvin, di ba? More than 10 years nang wala yung association namin that really takes care of all those details. Maybe this time we can ask for help, support from ISEP and from
Yes.
the board, from the PRC, to have a stronger stance and maybe to push whichever government agencies that needs to comply in this webinar. So yeah, so thank you again for joining successive episodes like this, talking about how to strengthen other professions like in the telecommunication, the Freedom of Information Act. I think there was
Paano?
one PECE who mentioned it to me that they have pending recommendation to the DICT. Maybe, Mr. President, we could have a calendar of activities, which one to give more emphasis to gather all the practitioners in that specific field and get all the broadcasting in cable television today. Maybe by next week, 2 weeks time, maybe we can push for other practices, Mr. President.
Yes, may dagdag lang ako sa James, yung mga broadcast organization nyo
So
dyan.
with that, we have to say goodbye. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Do look forward for more sa PH, sorry, sa PECE forum natin, and keep on supporting mother organization.
Baby shark. Baby shark.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Sir Christian.
Yes, yung organization nyo sa broadcast, kung mari, hindi, ito na, okay na ba? Narinig na? Naririnig na ako?
Okay. So I guess
Okay.
with that, we will be ending our YouTube channel. And if you are happy, click subscribe. And there will be announcements maybe in our ISAP website. And
Tita daw. Tita. Hello? Sorry.
go, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, i-add ko lang kung yung i-reactivate nyo yung
Proceed,
mga yes, yung broadcast nyo na grupo. Alam natin na nandyan yan sa Metro Manila. Kung maaari, ma-expand natin sa province para at least naman yung mga gustong mga, kasi dito sa Cagayan, yung taga GME na technician, pag-apply niya, nagkausap kami. Sabi ko, paano kayo organize natin yung Philippine Association of Broadcast Technician? So, nasasayahan siya. Sige sir, ako bahala. Tapos, meron namang isang engineer na nandun. Sir, paano kami makasali niyan na engineer kami? Para technician lang ate yung ano nyo. So, parang ginawa namin na ang pangalan na Philippine Association of Broadcast Practitioner. So, pero hindi pa yan, ano lang yan, nag-usap-usap lang muna. Pero, kung meron naman dyan na mga existing na umpisahan na, dadadalhin na lang natin sa mga other, para may member sa other mga probinsya na yung mga broadcast practitioner din nila, maging member din, tapos magkaroon ng mga updates, kasali na sila. So, sa ganun, magiging solid na yung samahan natin in terms of broadcast. So, yun lang muna siguro ang i-add ko, Sir James. Thank you.
Ma-add ko lang, Press Cristiano, meron ng organization sa Butuan na mga broadcast engineers. At the same time, meron din sa Cebu. Although
Sir
hindi
Melvin,
na connected,
go ahead.
meron na, as I was telling, meron ng organization dyan sa Butuan before at saka sa Cebu. Kaya lang hindi sila connected sa SBET. Mas maganda nga yung maganda yung narinig ko sa'yo ngayon. Pag na-reactivate na itong SBET, we will come up with local chapters. Siguro ma-organize lang namin to, kagaya, just to let you know, so, sa mga audience, no, ang SBET at saka ICEP merong MOA yan. May MOA yan dati, na lahat ng seminar na kinakandak ng ICEP, ng SBET, is accredited by ICEP. In fact, it was before, SBET was the broadcast specialty arm of ICEP. Kaya nga lang medyo nawala yon. So upon reactivation, that relation hopefully will remain. That kasi ang nagiging problem natin sa ICEP yung specialization, di ba, no? Marami kasing specialized field ang pag nagpakanda ka ng seminar sa isang chapter, normally ang mga ma-attend doon, hindi nila specialization yung inatinan. So, mas maganda yung specialization, may focus yun eh. So, hopefully, if this SBET will be reactivated, that would somehow have the mandate of helping both ICEP and the specialized field of broadcasting. We look forward for that to be realized once again. Napakasaya namin nila, James, noon sa SBET. Kaya lang medyo nagka-busy-busy kami lahat eh. Oo.
Sige sir, okay yan sir. ICEP will support.
Thank you very much, Pres. Pres, on a side note, although dapat kita tanong AGM natin. Are we doing the AGM pa rin on the meeting? Wala pa, no? Did you decide on that aspect?
With the chairman of that is VP Michelle, so we are on the, baka ituloy natin talaga pero through this online. Tinitingnan lang yung online kasi some professionals are pinuspone na nila, cancel na nila yung mechanical, cancel na nila eh. So siguro the ECE will find ways na since this is our time na kasi we are talking about technology, siguro with the help of sa inyo, sa lahat na dyan, kung anong kadanat na nito, but we are probably pushing the online. Pa-plaster lang natin kung ano yung mga dapat na makonsidera. But sana magkaroon ng EGM through online talaga. Kasi this is our part of our scope, tapos di tayo makaperform nito na through online. So, we are on the direction na may EGM tayo through online. So, initial ko yan.
Ayun. So, maraming salamat po ulit at sana magkita-kita tayo ulit sa susunod na episode. Ito po si Engineer James Roddy Santiago, kasama si Engineer Melvin Acosta, Engineer Philip Tamayaw, Engineer Christian Miquiabas, and Chairman Dr. Alnar Detalyan. Maraming salamat.
Salamat, maraming salamat. Good night. Stay safe sa lahat.
Lulu